Hey guys, welcome back to OrmsTV. Now over the last couple of months, Nikon have released two super telephoto lenses that have caused quite a lot of excitement amongst Nikon users. They released the Nikon 180-600 f5.6 to 6.3 and they dropped the Nikon Z 600mm f6.3 over here. And these two lenses initially kind of spoke to two very different segments of the market. But the more tests started to come out, the more we started to realize that actually they're a lot closer than people might think. And recently, Red Bull decided to host a lovely event down here in Cape Town, the Red Bull King of the Air. And we decided what better opportunity to test two of Nikon's best telephoto lenses, push them a little bit to the extremes of what they're capable of, and see what the actual difference is between these two Z-mount powerhouses. Okay, so let's get some of the basics out of the way first. So between these two lenses, there's a couple of differences. First things first, the weight on them. Okay, the 600 f6.3 is a remarkably light lens, and it's a lot lighter physically than what you might think when you first see it or when you touch it and you actually feel the construction on this lens. So this lens weighs in at about 1.5 kilograms. The 180-600 though is a bit of a different story. Very similar construction, very solid, very nice feeling, but a solid 2 kilograms. And it actually feels heavier than that, especially if you're handling both lenses kind of simultaneously. This lens is considerably bulkier, but it also covers a rather large focal range. The other difference between these lenses is within the element construction within them. So your 180-600 uses 25 elements in 17 groups. Your 600 f6.3 over here is 21 elements in 14 groups. So not a major difference, but again, it speaks to the fact that we are working with very different focal ranges within these two lenses. Both use 9 blade diaphragms for their apertures, and that's somewhere where I actually kind of expected the 600 fixed to have more, maybe an 11 blade diaphragm, but Nikon decided to keep them the same, and we'll touch on that a little bit later on when we talk about how similar these two lenses actually are. Okay, now further on the construction of these two lenses, it is worth looking a little bit deeper here. So on your 600 6.3, you have pretty much all these standard things over here. You have your focus ring, and then you have your custom ring that you can set to whatever function it is that you like. What is nice about the 600 6.3 is that you do have additional function buttons over here. So you've got at the back and on the front of the lens. Very easy to reach, very easy to manipulate. All in all, a rather nice setup. You have your autofocus manual focus switch, and of course you have your focus range limiter on that. On the 180-600 though, obviously there's a little bit more because there is the ring that controls your focus range, and if you notice that, an extremely short throw, which is really, really nice when you're out and about shooting with it. Custom ring at the back that again can be set for various functions. One of those functions is to control the manual focus though. Did find that a little bit finicky because as you're holding the lens and you're controlling it, because of where it's located, sometimes with your palm you tend to touch it. If you have that set to do manual focus, the moment you touch it, it jumps into manual focus and it becomes a little bit of a hassle. But everything else on here, very nice. Function buttons on the front of the unit, autofocus manual focus, and focus range limiter on it as well. Now I did say that both of these lenses are remarkably well built, and yes, they are. They are both solid. They feel extremely well put together. Very nice units all in all. The 600 prime, of course, is in Nikon's S series, and the 180-600 is not. And generally speaking, in my mind, that would mean that the one has a better construction to it. I cannot feel the difference. They both feel absolutely excellent. One other thing that I wanted to mention before we switch off here is that the 180-600 that zoom mechanism completely internally. That's very nice to see indeed. At the beginning of this video, I mentioned that these two lenses, though initially targeting two quite separate segments of the market and costing very, very different amounts of money, actually kind of compete in the same segment. And this section now, where I'm going to talk about the performance of them, is where that will come to light. Now, first off, if you're shooting both of these lenses and you're shooting in easy conditions, so think trying to shoot some portraits with it, shooting, you know, a little bit of general sport, you know, I don't know, some high school sport or something like that, pics of your dogs, your kids, that kind of thing. Man, there is almost nothing to choose between these lenses. So we shot some portraits and I'll pop some of them up for you. They are incredibly similar. And I say incredibly similar because it really speaks to the prowess of the 180 to 600. The 600 f6.3 being in the S series and what it costs, you expect it to be a phenomenal lens. It's supposed to be a beautiful piece of optic design and it's supposed to deliver incredible quality, and it does, make no mistake. It is phenomenal. The fine detail pickup is excellent. The separation between your elements is phenomenal. Your background separation is crisp and clear. The fall off is amazing. It's a phenomenal lens. It's absolutely incredible. But so is this. And when you look at it in South Africa, at least, you know, getting half the price of what the 600 is, that's a lot of lens for the money. And if you take two shots next to each other, like we'll do two portraits next to each other, they are so incredibly close that if I didn't know which one is which, I have an extremely hard time telling which is the S series and which is the sort of the normal lens here. And again, I'm going to say that really speaks to the quality and the performance capabilities of this lens. It really is that good. But there is a little bit of a caveat here. So I mentioned we went out and we shot some Red Bull King of the Air. And due to the location where it is and the time of day that it was, the subjects were all severely backlit. And that is where what you pay for the Prime 600 comes into play. And you'll see it in the pictures that we put up now. When you push these lenses to the absolute extremes of what is capable, of what a lens should be able to do, when you're shooting backlit, you're shooting fast-moving subjects, you're shooting over that sort of distance, you know, let's just talk about that, the kind of the distance that you're shooting at. There's spray in the middle, it's windy, there's a lot of particles in the air that lens optically has to deal with. That's where this lens kind of comes into its own. And you'll see the differences now. When you're shooting these kite surfers and you have that sun blaring from the back, the contrast that gets delivered with the 600 6.3, definitely a little step above what you get out of the 180 to 600. The other thing that we noticed shooting with these two lenses, and all the shots that you see were shot with Nikon Z8 and Z9s, so virtually the same camera. The autofocus with the 600 6.3 is marginally better. And I'm saying marginally because it's really, really small, but it is a little bit faster, it's a little bit more accurate than what you get from the 180 to 600 over here. But again, it's a tiny difference. It's a really, really small difference. And then the question becomes, is the 600mm 6.3 really worth the upcharge over the 180 to 600? And I'm going to say that in 90% of use cases, no, it's not. This 180 to 600 has absolutely blown me away with what it's capable of. Initially, I thought it's going to be an easy one. The 600 will absolutely destroy it. No two ways around it. But the 180 to 600 is so good. So good. 90% of the time, probably not worth the upcharge. But if you are someone who shoots in conditions where it's a little bit more taxing, you are pushing the limits of what's optically capable, if you're really, really demanding on that extra little bit of detail, the 606.3 does have its place. And the performance from it is phenomenal. And when you are shooting on that ragged edge of what's possible, it really does come into its own. But it is also basically double the price. And that could be quite tough. And now we're in a world where there really is no such thing as a bad lens anymore. We've said it on multiple reviews. Pretty much every lens you pick up these days is incredibly good. And the difference between these sorts of lenses becomes so small, so tiny, becomes really difficult to choose. But however you cut it, Nikon produced two phenomenal lenses here. And whatever camp you fall in, whatever your use case is, whichever one of these you end up choosing as a Nikon user, man, you're in for a treat.